Good evening, one and all. Yesterday we have studied about different types of business combination. Today we'll know the forms of business combination. Yesterday we got to know horizontal, lateral, diagonal, and circular combinations. Today we will study about the different forms of combinations, other different forms of combination. The two main categories of this are um, simple combinations and compound combinations. According to Hani, all can be grouped into two main categories: simple combinations and compound combinations. Simple combinations are direct combinations of natural persons as it is in partnership and joint stock company. And in compound combinations, we have associations or simple associations, federation, consolidation. So, what is an association? Meaning of association is simple association is a loose form of combination. The constituent units retaining their individuality and identity formed for the protection and promotion of the common interest of its members. So, what are the features of simple association? The main feature of simple association is they are simple in organization. They can be easily formed and easily dissolved. These are voluntary association. The constituent units of these associations, their individuality. They are merely advisory bodies. So, simple agreements and general agreements ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅದು ನಡೆಯುತ್ತೆ. Next we have, they do not interfere in the internal affairs of the members. These are the features of simple association. What are the advantages of simple association? Simple associations have some advantages like easily formed and easily dissolved. They are voluntary association. Membership of these associations are voluntary. The scope of this association is very wide. These associations do not interfere in the internal affairs of the members. These are the advantages. What are the disadvantages of simple association? They are loose form of combination. These associations do not have any control over the members. These are not stable. As it is loose, ಅದು ಯಾವಾಗ ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೂ ಡಿಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಆಗೋ ಚಾನ್ಸಸ್ ಇರತ್ತೆ. ಇದು ಸ್ಟೇಬಲ್ ಆಗಿರಲ್ಲ. Do not involve any express understanding or agreement binding the members. So these are the disadvantages of simple association. Next we have trade association. Trade association is a non-profit organization of business competitors for the promotion of one or more economic interests of those in the line of business or members in the territory covered. So, what are the features of trade association? The main features of the trade association are it is a loose form of business combination. So, ಯಾವ್ದು ಫೀಚರ್ಸ್ ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಅಸೋಸಿಯೇಷನ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಫೀಚರ್ಸ್ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಅನ್ವಯ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. So it is a loose form of business communication. It is a voluntary association. It is a non-profit making organization. ಯಾವುದು trade associations ಗಳು. It is an association of business unit engaged in a particular trade. It is formed for the purpose of protecting and promoting the common interest of its members. It does not run any business on its own or its own account. It is simply an advisory body giving advice to its members of trade. So essentially educational in character. It does not interfere in the internal affairs of its members. These are the features of trade association. What are the advantages of trade associations and how it is functioned? The first function of a trade association is it collects and supplies information to its members regarding new methods of productions. It assists its members in market research, advertisement, and export promotion. It undertakes research and experiments for the benefit of its members. These are some of the functions of trade association. Next, in that we have Chamber of Commerce. Chamber of Commerce is a voluntary non-profit making association of business or service units in a particular region formed for the purpose of protecting and to protect the formed in the region. So, features of Chamber of Commerce is that it is generally a voluntary association. It is a non-profit making organization. It is generally organized on regional basis. ಆ region ಗೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಅದು ಅನ್ವಯ ಆಗತ್ತೆ ಇದು ಚೇಂಬರ್ ಆಫ್ ಕಾಮರ್ಸ್. ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಯೂಶಲಿ ರಿಜಿಸ್ಟರ್ಡ್ ಅಂಡರ್ ದ ಕಂಪನೀಸ್ ಆಕ್ಟ್ as a company limited by guarantee. A chamber of commerce does not conduct any business of its own. A chamber of commerce is also a loose form of combination, the constituent business units retaining their individuality and identity. So these are the same characters of a simple association. Next, we have working of a chamber of commerce, or what are the functions of a chamber of commerce. It collects and supplies information relating to trade, commerce, and industry to its members. Okay. Next, it acts as a protector of trademarks and patents. It conducts research and experiments for the benefit of its members. It conducts conferences and issues valuable reports on the conditions of trade, commerce, and industry. Next, we have informal agreements. Informal agreements are agreements or undertakings entered into voluntary by competing business units to follow certain trade practices to protect their mutual business interests. What are the features of informal agreements? Again, it is an informal and unwritten agreement and not formal and written agreement. There is no formal organization for enforcing these agreements. The enforcement of these agreements is left to the good sense of the members. The members of these agreements visual identity. These agreements are unstable and temporary. These are the features of formal informal agreements. Informal agreements do ishtu features. So next, we have advantages of informal agreements. These agreements can be entered into easily without incurring any expenses. Under these agreements, the members retain their individuality and identity. These agreements are flexible and are readily adjustable to change the condition. These agreements enable the members to secure benefits of monopolistic policies. What are the disadvantages? As there is no formal agency to enforce these agreements, the parties of these agreements are generally anxious to further own interest rather than common interest. So these are the disadvantages. These agreements are mostly unstable and temporary. Next, we have federations. Simple associations ಆಯ್ತು. ಈಗ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಫೆಡರೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ what is the meaning of federation? A business federation is a form of combination and the combining units retain their separate identity and autonomy on the whole, but join together under a formal agreement for certain specific purpose affecting their common interest and agree to abide by the restrictions imposed by the combination. So informal agreements ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ರಿಟರ್ನ್ ಅಗ್ರಿಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಇರಲ್ಲ, ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಫಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಅಗ್ರಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ಎ ಸರ್ಟನ್ ಸ್ಪೆಸಿಫಿಕ್ ಪರ್ಪಸ್ ಅಫೆಕ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ದೇರ್ ಕಾಮನ್ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್. ಕಾಮನ್ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಇರೋರು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಫಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಅಗ್ರಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಇದ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ವಾಟ್ ಆರ್ ದ ಫೀಚರ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಫೆಡರೇಷನ್ಸ್? ಫೆಡರೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಏನೇನ್ ಫೀಚರ್ಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಇಟ್ ಕಮ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ಟು ಬೀಯಿಂಗ್ ಥ್ರೂ ಎ ಫಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಅಗ್ರಿಮೆಂಟ್. The combined federation retain their separate identity and autonomy. In the case of a federation, there is a machinery to run the combination and keep intact as far as possible. A federation is less loose than a simple association. Compared to simple association, federation is less loose. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಇದು ಕಾಂಬಿನೇಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಗಟ್ಟಿಯಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಅಡ್ವಾಂಟೇಜಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಫೆಡರೇಷನ್. ಎ ಫೆಡರೇಷನ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಎ ಸರ್ಟನ್ ಅಡ್ವಾಂಟೇಜ್ over association. A federation is less loose compared to simple association. It creates a machinery for running the combination and keeping intact as far as possible. What are the limitations of federation? Federation is subject to certain limitations, and they are, in the case of federation, the combining units have to surrender a part of their freedom for the promotion of the common interest. And federation is no doubt more effective than a simple association, but it is not strong enough as consolidation. Next, we have forms of federations. There are two important forms of federation. They are pools and cartels. A pool is a form of business organization established through the federation of business units engaged in the same or similar line of business for the purpose of exercising control over the price of the product. by controlling some price making factor. ಸೊ ಪ್ರೈಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಪೂಲಿಂಗ್ ಕಾಂಬಿನೇಷನ್ ನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. ಅದ್ರದ್ದು ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಏನು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಪೂಲ್ ಫೀಚರ್ಸ್. ಎ ಪೂಲ್ ಇಸ್ ಎ federation or union of in the same or similar line of business. A pool is a federation or combination of a number of units engaged in the same or similar line of business. In a pool, the combining units join together for some common purpose, but they retain their individual identity and considerable autonomy in the conduct of their business. In a pool, the agreement may relate to the regulation of output. The main objective of a pool is to have control over the price of the product for restricting acute competition in the other words. ಸೊ ನಾವು ಪ್ರೈಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಒಂದು ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಇರೋದಕ್ಕೆ, ಅದನ್ನ ರಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದಿಕ್ಕೆ, ಅದು ಆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಕಾಂಪಿಟೇಷನ್ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಮಾಡೋದಿಕ್ಕೆ ಪೂಲಿಂಗ್ ನ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ರಿಟರ್ನ್ ಅಗ್ರಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಬೈಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಆನ್ ಆಲ್ ದ ಫೆಡರೇಟಿಂಗ್ ಆರ್ ಕಂಬೈನಿಂಗ್ ಯೂನಿಟ್ಸ್. There is a collective regulation of output or market or in centralized disbursement of income or profit. So these are the characteristics of pool. Next, what are the advantages of pool? The formation of pool is easy as there is no legal formality to be observed. A pool can be formed without much expense. Withdrawal of membership from a pool is also easy. There is no danger or problem of overcapitalism. So these are the advantage of pools. Next, we have disadvantages. Pools involve considerable expenses in enforcing strict observance of the conditions among the members. The members of a pool are legally unenforceable. Further, as a member of a pool enjoy considerable autonomy. So these are some of the, and also pools block the growth or adoption of inventions in the industry. These are the disadvantages of pools. Then we have different types of pools. Output pool, traffic pool, market pool, income and profit pool, patents pool, export pool. These are the different types of pools. First, we shall know about output pool. Output pool is a federation formed by all or the principal producers engaged in the same industry, agreeing to combine their outputs to make an imaginary aggregate pool or fund and divide the aggregate pool among themselves on the basis of output quotas fixed for them. So, in output pool, of business combination, output pool is another type of business combination. What are the advantages of output pool? The main advantage of output pool is that under the output pool arrangement, undercutting for more sales is not possible as no member is allowed to produce and sell more than a quota fixed for him. So ಎಷ್ಟು ಔಟ್ಪುಟ್ ಬರ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಇರತ್ತೆ, ಅದು ಫಿಕ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಅವರು ಇದ್ ಮಾಡೋದಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ. ಸೊ ಔಟ್ಪುಟ್ ನ ರಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ. ಅದು output pool. Disadvantages of output pool. The main disadvantages of output pool are this arrangement leads to inefficiency as even the inefficient unit which would otherwise be eliminated is maintained at the cost of efficient units. It arrests progress by making every member restrict its production only to the level fixed for it. This is output pool. Disadvantages of output pool. Next, we have the traffic pool. A traffic pool is an association of transport companies formed for the purpose of regulating or restricting competition in traffic on a given route or routes by fixing uniform freight rates and fares and dividing the traffic on the given routes or among the pool members on an agreed basis. This is a traffic pool. Next, what are the advantages of traffic pools? The main advantage of traffic pools are the arrangement avoids duplication of services. It ensures proper utilization of shipping resources, which is positive benefit to the country. It eliminates wasteful competition on defined routes. It helps to reduce the operational cost and to provide better facilities to the customers. These are the some of the advantages of traffic pools. Next, we have disadvantages of traffic pools. Enforcement of the agreement among the members involves difficulties. In this arrangement, competition from non-members cannot be completely eliminated. It gives protection to inefficient units. So these are the important disadvantages of traffic pools. Next, we have market pool or tertiary pool. A market pool is an arrangement under which the whole market for a product is assessed and is divided among the member units or on some agreed basis. ಅದು ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್ ಪೂಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ದ ಮೇನ್ ಅಡ್ವಾಂಟೇಜ್ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್ ಪೂಲ್ ಅಂತೆ ಅದರಿಂದ ಏನ್ ಅಡ್ವಾಂಟೇಜ್ ಆಗತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್ ಪೂಲ್ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ಸ್ ಟು ಅವಾಯ್ಡ್ ಅನ್ಹೆಲ್ದಿ ಕಾಂಪಿಟೇಷನ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ದ ಮೆಂಬರ್ ಫರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್. ಸೊ ಕಾಂಪಿಟೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅದೇ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ the market pool arrangement helps the members to reduce their advertising and selling and distribution expenses. So ಯಾವ್ದಾದ್ರು ಅದೇ ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಗೆ ನಾವು ಅಡ್ವರ್ಟೈಸಿಂಗ್ ಸೆಲ್ಲಿಂಗ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಡಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ. ಈ ತರ ಪೂಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದ್ರಿಂದ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಏನಾಗತ್ತೆ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್ ಪೂಲ್ ಮಾಡೋದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಅದ್ರದ್ದೆಲ್ಲ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಆಗತ್ತೆ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್, intensive exploitation of markets by the respective members is made possible by this scheme by eliminating cutthroat competition and ensuring well-defined working market arrangement. Market pools help to earn the highest return, so profit will be more. Next, we have disadvantages of market pools. When each member unit is exclusively operating within its market treasury, this is a strong bargaining position, almost announcing to monopoly. Next, the market pool arrangement deprives the consumers free choice of product. ಸೊ ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ಗೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಈ ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ ಬೈ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ಆ ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ಅಂತ ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ ಚಾಯ್ಸ್ ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್, ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಟೂಲ್ಸ್. Income and profit tools are often considered synonymous, but strictly speaking, they are not synonymous. There is some difference between the two. So, what are the advantages of income and profit pool? Under this arrangement, even the average or below average firm assured of some profit out of profit earned by efficient firms. So as there is a common price fix for all the pool members, there will be no competition among the pool members. This arrangement does not interfere in the choice of the consumers. Next, we have the disadvantages of income and profit pools. The pools arrangement kills the incentive to produce efficiently, as even the inefficient units are assured for some profit. ಸೊ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅರ್ನ್ ಮಾಡಿರೋದು ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಆಗೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿರೋರ್ಗು ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಸಿಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಅದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ. ಆಸ್ ದಿಸ್ ಪೂಲ್ ಅರೇಂಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಕ್ಲಬ್ಸ್ ಟುಗೆದರ್ ಬೋತ್ ಎಫಿಷಿಯಂಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಇನ್ಎಫಿಷಿಯಂಟ್ ಯೂನಿಟ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ಕೇಸ್ ವೇರ್ ಬೋತ್ ಪ್ರೈಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಆರ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಫಿಕ್ಸ್ಡ್. ದಿಸ್ ಪೂಲ್ ಅರೇಂಜ್ ಎಫಿಷಿಯಂಟ್ ಯೂನಿಟ್ಸ್ ಟು ಗ್ರೇಟರ್ ಅಡ್ವಾಂಟೇಜ್. ನಾ ಹೇಳ್ದಂಗೆ ಯಾರು ತುಂಬಾ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಆಗಿ ವರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಎಫಿಷಿಯಂಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರೋ ಅವ್ರಿಗೂ ಅದೇನೆ ಲಾಭ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಹಂಗಾಗಿ ಇದೇನಾಗತ್ತೆ ಇದು ಡಿಸ್ಅಡ್ವಾಂಟೇಜ್ ಆಫ್ ಅನದರ್ income and profit pools. Next, we have patent pools, which is this appears in USA, and export pools. Export pools is another form of pooling. And we have cartels. Basically, cartel means cartel is an association of independent undertakings which enforces obligations as to the treatment of output, market, purchase, price, calculation, or trade terms, and therefore serves to influence the market against the working of free competition. So competitions na avoid ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಇದು ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Next, it is what are the characteristic features of a cartel? It is a voluntary association. It is a ಹಾರಿಜಾಂಟಲ್. ನಾವು ಹಾರಿಜಾಂಟಲ್ ವರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ನೋಡಿದ್ವಿ, ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಇದು ಸೇಮ್ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಹಾರಿಜಾಂಟಲ್ ಕಾಂಬಿನೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಗೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಎ ಫೆಡರಲ್ ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್ whereby it is members agree to abide by the common decisions on specified matters taken by the central organization. So the cartel agreement may be provided for regulation of output. These are some of the characters of cartels. Next, we have the advantages of cartel. What are the advantages of cartels? Cartels are syndicates take up by the work of sale of the products of the members. As the responsibility of sales is taken over the syndicates, the members can concentrate on betterment of production. When there are cartels, manufacturing activities can be carried on by the members under semi-competitive conditions. Cartels help the members to enjoy the economies of large-scale common marketing. Cartels assures minimum margin of profit. Cartel syndicates helps the members to earn production gains as well as marketing gains. So these are some of the advantages of cartel. Next, we have the disadvantages of cartels. What are the disadvantages of cartels? Cartels are not without drawbacks. They suffer from the following drawbacks. So it is not easy to form cartels, particularly syndicates, because proposed members may offer conflicting claims and it will be very difficult to reconcile. There is an element of instability in cartels. Under cartels, inefficient units are maintained at the cost of efficient units. In spite of their having monopoly on marketing, cartels, that is syndicates, are not able to arrest fluctuations in demand. So cartels have to face competition from non-members. These are some of the disadvantages of cartels. Next, we have consolidation. A federation A federation as a form of business organization has no doubt certain advantages over association. Federation association compare ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ federation improved form of business combination, but consolidation ಇನ್ನೂ more improved form of business combination. It has less loose and fulfills certain important common purposes, but it suffers from two chief weaknesses. ಏನಂದ್ರೆ ಫೆಡರೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿಸ್ಅಡ್ವಾಂಟೇಜಸ್ ಹೇಳ್ದಂಗೆ ಅದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಲೂಸ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಮತ್ತೆ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಮ್ಯಾನ್ ಇನ್ ಸಮ್ ಆಫ್ ಅದರ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಕಾಂಬಿನೇಷನ್. ಸೊ ಏನಾಗತ್ತೆ ಇದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರು ಕನ್ಸಾಲಿಡೇಷನ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬೋದು. ಅಕಾರ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಟು ದರ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಕನ್ಸಾಲಿಡೇಷನ್ is type of combination ಇದೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ consolidation ಅಲ್ಲಿ, in which the member organization lose their independence identity either partially ಅಥವಾ completely. ಒಂದು ಮೆಂಬರ್ ಆರ್ಗನೈಸೇಷನ್ ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ಐಡೆಂಟಿಟಿ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಲೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋ ತರ ಕನ್ಸಾಲಿಡೇಷನ್ ಆದ್ರೆ, ಕಾಂಬಿನೇಷನ್ ಆದ್ರೆ, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಫುಲ್ ಅವ್ರ ಐಡೆಂಟಿಟಿ ಲೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋ ಅಂತದ್ದು ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಕಾಂಬಿನೇಷನ್, ಅದು ಕನ್ಸಾಲಿಡೇಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಫುಲ್ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಏನು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಟೂ ಟೈಪ್ಸ್, ಪಾರ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಮತ್ತೆ complete consolidation. On the other hand, if the member constituency is loses dependent entity completely, it is called complete consolidation. So partial consolidations ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ 3 forms ಇರುತ್ತೆ: trust, community of interest ಮತ್ತೆ holding companies. ಪಾರ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಕನ್ಸಾಲಿಡೇಷನ್ ಅದ್ರಲ್ಲೇ ಹೇಳ್ದಂಗೆ ಏನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಕಾಂಬಿನೇಷನ್ ಇನ್ ವಿಚ್ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಫರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ಕಮ್ ಟುಗೆದರ್, ಫಾರ್ಮಲೈಸ್ಡ್ ಕಾಮನ್ ಓನರ್ಶಿಪ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್. ಸೊ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಟ್ರಸ್ಟ್, ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಟಿ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಹೋಲ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಕಂಪನೀಸ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಎ ಟ್ರಸ್ಟ್? A trust may be established for religious or charitable purposes or business purposes. Trust established for religious or charitable purpose is known as common trust. ಅಥವಾ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಪರ್ಪಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಟ್ರಸ್ಟ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿಬಹುದು, ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಏನಂತ ಕಾಂಬಿನೇಷನ್ ಟ್ರಸ್ಟ್ ಅಂತಾನು ಕರಿಬಹುದು. A form of business organization. So a trust is a form of business organization established through temporary consolidation in which the stockholder constituent organization under a trust agreement transfer a controlling amount of their stock to a board of trustees in exchange for trust certificates. These certificates show their equitable interest in the income of the combinations. So what are the features of trust? A trust is not a federation but consolidation of business firms. A trust represents a partial consolidation. It is a partial consolidation. Trust may be horizontal combination. Trusts are usually registered. Trusts are usually created for a fixed period. A trust has a separate legal entity as the combining units. These are some of the features of trust. What are the advantages of trust? Trust enjoy greater stability in the sense of that continue to the exist for other compared to other trusts have greater stability. As a trust results in the transfer of management and control to a board of trustees, various companies are brought under the unified control. Trust facilitate effective management of constituent companies. Effective management of constituent companies trust facilitate effective application of largest aggregation of capital. Trust can scrap inefficient plans. So Trust contribute to the standardization and production of quality products. With full control over output and marketing, trust are in the better position to regulate their output and prices. So these are the advantages of trust. Trust the disadvantages ಏನಂದ್ರೆ it is comparatively more difficult to form a trust as compared to other forms of combination. A trust is rather inflexible since a trust leads to aggregation or pooling of capital. It carries the danger of overcapitalization. A trust may have lead to monopolistic or discriminatory price controls. It may become difficult to effectively manage the business of several constituent companies. So these are the disadvantages of trust. Next, we have the community of interest. A community of interest is a form of business organization in which, without any formal central administration, the business policy of several companies is controlled by a group of stockholders. Or the community of interest is a harmonious relationship established between two or more companies as a result of the ownership in their stock by the same persons. Okay, so this is community of interest. Next, we have the feature of interest. It is a form of partial consolidation. So partial consolidations, consolidation ಏನೇನ್ ಫೀಚರ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಇದಕ್ಕೂ ಆಗತ್ತೆ. It is a community of interest. The business policies of the constituent companies are under the control of some common directors, managers, etc. In this form of business combination, the separate identity of the constituent companies is retained. Okay. Next, we have the management of the different constituent companies is formally vested on their respective board of directors. Board of directors ಇರ್ತಾರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ. ಯಾಕೆಂದ್ರೆ ಇದು ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ community of interest ಮೇಲೆ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Uniform of policy decisions or plans are made and acted upon for all the constituent companies by the common directors or managers. These are some of the advantages or features of community of interest. Next, we have the advantages. Community of interest is a means of affecting combination business units without the creation of any formal mechanism. Community of interest can be formed easily. It ensures individual identity and autonomy to the constituent units. It has the advantage of flexibility. It maintains secrecy in working. The disadvantages of community interest are this form of combination is not very stable. Economies of large scale organization and operations cannot be secured through this form of combinations. Community of interest vests power in group without placing corresponding responsibilities. So these are some of the disadvantages of community of interest. Next, we have holding companies. A holding company is a purely financial concern which uses the capital to acquire controlling interest in other firms. Sometimes as little as just over 50%, but often very much more than this, and sometimes obtaining the entire issue of ordinary shares. So this is the definition of a holding company. What are the features of a holding company? The first feature is a holding company is a partial consolidation, as the subsidiaries which are controlled by the holding company are not completely fused in it and functions as a separate entity. It is a temporary consolidation in the sense that the consolidation disappears as soon as the holding company loses a controlling interest. A holding company may acquire the shares of the subsidiary or subsidiaries by exchanging its own shares by other means of purchase. So these are some of the features of holding companies. Next, we have the advantages of holding company. A holding company can be formed very easily as it does not require the consent of the shareholders of the subsidiary company or companies, but just the acquisition of controlling interest as in the subsidiary company or companies. It secures unified central management without disturbing the individuality and initiative of the affiliated companies. So it can have a central organization for the supply of technical services to the subsidiaries. See, these are some of the advantages of holding company. What are the disadvantages of a holding company? A holding company gets substantial powers over the subsidiaries, but it has no corresponding responsibility towards them. Control without responsibility may prove determinantal to the interest of the group. So this is another disadvantage of holding companies. Holding company type of combination may develop into a secret monopoly, and monopoly is determinal to the interest of the society. In this form of combination, perfect integration may not become a reality because of this possibility of conflict of interest and policies between the subsidiaries. So these are some of the disadvantages of holding companies. Next we have complete consolidation. Partial consolidation ಆಯ್ತು ಇದರಲ್ಲೀಗ. Next we have complete consolidation. Complete consolidation is a form of business organization which is established by the outright purchase of the properties of the constituent organization and the merging or amalgamation of such properties into a single business unit. What are the features of complete consolidation? Complete consolidation is a total fusion of constituent units into a single unit. ಎರಡು ಯೂನಿಟ್ ಇದನ್ನ ಒಂದನ್ ಮಾಡೋದಿಕ್ಕೆ. So complete consolidation is a total fusion of constituent units into a single unit. ಒಂದ್ ಮಾಡೋದಿಕ್ಕೆ fusion ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. Complete consolidation occurs when two or more companies or concerns combine to transfer their assets and liabilities. It is in the case of complete consolidation, the fusion or union is complete. Complete consolidation may be horizontal or vertical. Under complete consolidation, the combining unit or units lose their identity. The case of complete consolidation, the fusion is irrecoverable. So these are some of the important features of complete consolidation. Next, we have different forms of complete consolidation. We have two forms of complete consolidation: amalgamation and merger or absorption. Amalgamation, when two or more existing companies combine and form a new company, there is said to be amalgamation. So ಒಂದು ಮತ್ತೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಎರಡು ಕಂಪನಿ ಸೇರ್ಕೊಂಡು ಒಂದೇ ಕಂಪನಿ ಆಗೋದಿಕ್ಕೆ amalgamation ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. For instance, two existing companies, say A company and B company, join together to form a new company. A ಮತ್ತೆ B ಎರಡು ಸೇರಿ ಒಂದು C company ಆಗೋದಿಕ್ಕೆ amalgamation ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. Amalgamation involves the liquidation of two existing companies and formation of a new company. So ಎರಡು ಕಂಪನಿ ಎರಡು ಒಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಸೇರಿ ಒಂದ್ ಕಂಪನಿ ಸಿ ಆಗೋದಕ್ಕೆ amalgamation ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. Amalgamation involves the outright sale of the business assets and liabilities by the existing combining companies to a newly formed company. The amalgamating companies get the consideration for the sale of their business in the form of shares in the new company. So ಎರಡು ಕಂಪನಿದು liquidation ಎಲ್ಲ ಸೇರಿ ಹೊಸ ಕಂಪನಿದು ನೀವು shares ಆಗತ್ತೆ. So this is a amalgamation. Next we have merger or absorption. Merger or absorption is a form of complete consolidation. ಇದು ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಕನ್ಸಾಲಿಡೇಷನ್. ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಪೂರ್ತಿ ಅದ್ರ ಒಂದಕ್ಕೊಂದು ಸೇರ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು. ಇದು ಮರ್ಜರ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದ್ರ ಜೊತೆ ಒಂದು ಸೇರ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು. ಅಬ್ಸಾರ್ಪ್ಷನ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದನ್ನೊಂದು ಸೇರಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು. ಸೊ ಮರ್ಜರ್ ಅಂತ ಅಬ್ಸಾರ್ಪ್ಷನ್ ಎರಡು ಒಂದೇ ಆಗತ್ತೆ. ಮರ್ಜರ್ or absorption is a form of complete consolidation where an existing company absorbs or takes over or purchases the business of one or more existing companies. ಒಂದು ಅಥವಾ ಎರಡು ಕಂಪನಿನ ಒಂದೇ ಕಂಪನಿ ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋದು, ಸೇರಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡ್ತು ಅದ್ರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಮರ್ಜ್ ಆಗೋದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. Generally, a bigger and stronger company absorbs a smaller and weaker companies. ಒಂದು ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಸ್ಕೇಲ್ ರಾ ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೋ ಕಂಪನಿ ಅಥವಾ ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿನ ಒಂದ್ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಬೇಕಾಗಿ ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ರಾ ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್ ಪ್ರೊವೈಡ್ ಮಾಡೋಣ ಅವ್ರ ಜೊತೆ ಮರ್ಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಕೆ ಇದನ್ನ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಕೊಡ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ಎಕ್ಸ್ ಕಂಪನಿ ಟೇಕ್ಸ್ ಓವರ್ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಅನದರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಿಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಕಂಪನಿ, ಸೇ ವೈ ಕಂಪನಿ, then it is said to be merge. It is a merger or an absorption. The selling company or companies get the consideration for the sale of business in the form of cash or debentures or shares of the purchasing company. In the case of absorption, the selling or absorbed company or companies lose their identity, but no new ಕಂಪನಿ ಇಸ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ್ದೋ ಹೊಸ ತರ ಕಂಪನಿ ಅಂತ ಅಮಾಲ್ಗಮೇಶನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೊಸ ಕಂಪನಿ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆದಂಗೆ ಇದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಹೊಸ ಕಂಪನಿ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಇರೋ ಕಂಪನಿ ಜೊತೆ ಇದನ್ನು ಸೇರ್ಕೊಂಡು ಅದೇ ಹೆಸರಲ್ಲಿ ಫಾಲೋ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಮರ್ಜರ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಅಬ್ಸಾರ್ಪ್ಷನ್. Next we have the so this completes the block 2. I hope I have completed all the points regarding formation of business. And important points are amalgamation, absorption, pools, cartels, and also horizontal combination, vertical combination. So these units have to be studied properly. And next we will move to block 3, principles of management. Okay. In block 1, we have completed fundamentals of business organization, forms, partnership, joint stock company, public enterprises, business combinations, and what are the advantages and disadvantages of business combination, what are the causes for business combination, and different forms of business combination. This covers 2 blocks, and now we are moving to the third block, which is the management, introduction, and functions of management. After the combinations and formation of the companies, it is important to know about the management. So what a management is? It is a integral process of achieving organizational goals by effective utilization of available resources through proper planning, organizing, directing, coordinating, and controlling functions. So management is a distinct process consisting of planning, organizing, actuating, and controlling performance to determine the accomplished objectives by the use of people and resources. So being a BBA or a management students, it's important to know the role of management, role of managers, etc. So what a management is? Management is a principally the task of planning, coordinating, motivating, and controlling the efforts of these towards a specific objective. So ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಆರ್ಗನೈಸೇಷನ್ಗೆ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಬೋನ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ಅವ್ರು ಎಲ್ಲದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಮೂಲಕನೇ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕಾಗಿರೋದು. ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಡಿಸಿಷನ್ ಮೇಕಿಂಗು ಅದು ಎಲ್ಲ ಸರಿ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಗೇನ್ಸ್, ಪ್ಲಾನಿಂಗಿಗೂ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ತುಂಬಾ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ಪ್ಲಾನಿಂಗ್ ದಟ್ ವಿ ವಿಲ್ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಇನ್ future units, planning, organizing, controlling everything in detail. Okay, now we shall know about the characteristics of management. The first characteristics is universal phenomenon. Management is a universal in nature. It is essential element of every organized activity irrespective of its nature. So universal phenomena, adu management first character. Next we have distinct process. Management is a distinct process consisting clear and unique activities. It involves series of activities related to the following, that is determining organizational objectives. Organization ಏನೇನು ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಡಿಟರ್ಮಿನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಒಂದು important task. Next we have formulating plans and policies to achieve the determined objectives. Objectives na full ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಮೇಲೆ ಆರ್ಗನೈಸೇಷನಲ್ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ಸ್, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಫಾರ್ಮುಲೇಟಿಂಗ್ ಪ್ಲಾನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು, ಯಾವ ತರ ಅದನ್ನ ಫುಲ್ಫಿಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಆ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ಸ್ ನಾವು ರೀಚ್ ಆಗಕ್ಕೆ ಅಂತ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಅಸೆಂಬ್ಲಿಂಗ್ ವೇರಿಯಸ್ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ and ensuring proper over activities of factors, creating a working environment to achieve the objective. Management acts as a distinct process. Next, we have social process as a character of management. Management is a social process. It aims to achieve its objectives through combined efforts of people and helps to establishing good relationship among them. So, next is organized activities. Management is a group of organized activities. All organizations have their objectives, and these objectives are achieved only by group of persons, and it involves HRM. Management involves people. It promotes the efforts of human beings and directs them towards the achievement of predetermined objectives. Getting works done through others is the definition of management. According to Harold Kuntz, management is the art of getting things done through the others. So, and with an informally organized group. That means management is a specialized activity that involves obtaining desired results through the effort of others. Integrative process. Management is a integrative process. Goal oriented. Management is goal oriented. Management is not the end itself. It means its goal are called organizational goals. The basic goal of its to ensure efficiency in utilization of resources. Thus, management is said to be a goal-oriented activity. Dynamic process. Management is a dynamic in nature. It is not static. It is involved in investing and developing new techniques to suit the requirements of changing business conditions. Excuse me. It adopts new methods, new process, and new techniques invented according to changes. Management is a system of authority. Management consists of group of people with individual goals which often conflict with managerial goals. Existing of conflict do not contribute towards the success of an organization. So it acts as a system of authority. Next, decision making is also another important character of management. Decision making is one of the important functions of management. Decisions are made at all levels to select the best course of action. The success of an organization depends on the quality of decision made by the manager. So decision making is an important step in the or a function of management. Leadership quality. So these are the important functions and also the characters which has to be studied in detail. Inborn and learned activity. According to the opinion of some experts, management is inborn. That means it is acquired in the normal course of action. According to others, management is not inborn, but and it has to be acquired through formal training and development. Next, we have factors of production. Management is one of the factors of production like land, labor, capital, and organization. Management is intangible. Management is intangible in nature. That means it cannot be seen by eyes, but its effects on seen through the results affected by others. Management, art as well as science. Management acts as a science as well as a art. Managerial skills possessed by the individual is an art. So different managers needs different skills in different levels of management, top management, middle management, and lower management. So different skills are required in different levels of management. This type is acquired by the art, and on the other hand, the management is a science since has developed certain principles on the basis which the objectives are brought into reality. So management acts as both science and arts. Next, management is as a group activity. Management involves group activities. It coordinates the efforts of every individual into a collective activity. It is the collective efforts that leads to success. Thus, the success of an organization depends on the group activity, and it is multidisciplinary. Management is multidisciplinary in nature. These are the characteristics of management. Next, what is the difference between administration and management? Administration is at the top level of management, and management is a board of directors, supervisors. According to Breach, the difference between management and administration is by nature, management is a executive or a doing function, but in administration, it is a thinking function. What are the types of function? It is concerned with formation of major policies and objectives in administration, but in management, it is concerned with implementation of policies and objectives. It is a top level function. It is a middle level, lower level functions. Management, planning and controlling are main functions of administration. Organizing and directing are main functions of management. It is a directly related with the execution of plan. Directing human efforts, it is directly related with the execution of plan to achieve the objectives. It requires administration requires more knowledge than technical ability, but technical ability rather than administrative knowledge. Management requires technical ability rather than administrative knowledge. It involves top level executives, generally board of directors in administration. It involves middle level and lower level executives, generally managers, supervisors, and other ministerial staff for the management level. Next, we have the functions of management: planning, organizing, staffing, directing, coordinating, controlling, meaning and definitions of communication. Next, we have management by objectives. It is an important topic, management by objectives. Management by objective model. MBO is a management model that aims to improve the performance of an organization by clearly defining objectives that are agreed to both management and employees. According to Kuntz, is a comprehensive managerial system that integrates many key managerial activities in a systematic manner, consciously directed towards the effective and efficient achievement of organization and individuals. What is the process of management? MBO: setting of objectives, identifying key results, setting subordinate objectives, revision of organizational structure, matching objectives and resources, uh, conducting periodic review, performance appraisal and feedback. So these are the important process of MBO or steps in management by objectives. Setting objectives contains they should be verifiable, they should indicate time frame within which they should be accomplished, they should indicate the cost, they should indicate the quality and quantity, as they should help in promoting overall development of the organization. So important process of management by objectives. Next, we have the advantages of management by objectives. It helps in building team spirit among the members of an organization. It helps in team building spirit of the organization. As there is performance appraisal, there will be a human resource tendency to grow more in the organization. It helps the integrating efforts to achieve overall objectives of an organization. It helps in better utilization of available resources. It concentrates on key result areas, thus saves waste of resources on unimportant areas of business. It advocates trust, cooperation, and mutual supportive attitude among the personal advantages of management by objectives. It is difficult to set objectives under MBO program because setting requires proper study of human nature, behavior, expectations, etc. MBO may be tend to introduce inflexibility. MBO increases pressure and frustrations. Most of MBO programs goals are set for short duration. This is not good for long-term development oriented organizations. Goals are set quantifiable terms. So these are some of the disadvantages of management by objectives. Next, we have evolution of management thoughts. The evolution of management thoughts can be studied under the following headings: pre-scientific management era, classical management era, neoclassical management era, and modern management era. In pre-scientific management era, scientific management ಗಿಂತ ಮುಂಚೆನೂ ಇದ್ದಿದ್ದಕ್ಕೆ, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿಯಲ್ ರೆವಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಆಗೋಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮುಂಚೆ, Charles Babbage was professor of the mathematics, and University of recognized by the supporter of operations research and management science. His scientific innovations were mechanical calculator, a versatile computer, and a punch or a card machine. So uh, before the industrial revolutions, management ಅಥವಾ another joint stock company form separated management from ownership. Ownership ಬೇರೆ ಇರ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು, ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಬೇರೆ ತರ ಇತ್ತು. ಅವೆಲ್ಲ ಫಾಲೋ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಿದ್ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಬಿಫೋರ್ ದ ಸೈಂಟಿಫಿಕ್, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಹೇಳ್ದಂಗೆ ಪ್ರೀ ಸೈಂಟಿಫಿಕ್ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಎರ ಆ ತರ ಆಯ್ತು. ಅವಾಗ್ಲೇ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಬೇರೆ ತರ ಆಯ್ತು. ಆ ಓನರ್ಶಿಪ್ ಬೇರೆ, ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಬೇರೆ, ಎಲ್ಲ ತರ ಫಾಲೋ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ದ classical management era. Classical management era was associated with managing work and organizations on a scientific basis. This era was categorized in three groups, namely scientific management, administrative management, and bureaucratic management. Scientific management ali F.W. Taylor, Gilbert, Gant, others have made indelible contributions to the concept of scientific management. So Taylor, Gilbert, Gant ಅವ್ರದೆಲ್ಲ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಷನ್ಸ್ scientific management ಗೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಇದೆ. Among these persons, contributions made by the Taylor were very more significant. Taylor the contribution ತುಂಬಾ ಇತ್ತು. He was considered as the father of scientific management. Therefore, the present discussions are concentrated on the contributions of F.W. Taylor. Frederick Winslow Taylor. F.W. Taylor joined as an apprentice in a small machine making shop in Philadelphia. So, what are the principles of scientific management? Scientific management, the principles ಏನು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ time and motion study. The performance of workers was more haphazard before the introduction of scientific management. F.W. Taylor found that a number of movements of workers at workstations were unnecessary. As a result of this, workers were taking more time to complete the job than necessary. Therefore, he advised to eliminate unnecessary movements. So, time and motion study andre idene. The performance of workers was haphazard. Time ಮತ್ತೆ motion studyಗೆ ಅವರು ಆಸ್ ಎ ರಿಸಲ್ಟ್ ಸುಮ್ನೆ ವರ್ಕರ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಅನವಶ್ಯಕವಾಗಿ ಓಡಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಟೈಮ್ ಪಾಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಸುಮ್ನೆ ಬೇಜವಾಬ್ದಾರಿಯಿಂದ ಇರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು. ಅದನ್ನ ನೋಡಿ ಅವ್ರು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು, ಅವರು ಯಾವ್ದು ಟೈಮ್ಗೆ ಏನ್ ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಎಲಿಮಿನೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಶುರು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. ಅದು ಟೈಮ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಮೋಷನ್ ಸ್ಟಡಿ. ಎಲಿಮಿನೇಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ರೂಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಥಂಬ್. ಟೇಲರ್ ಅಡ್ವೊಕೇಟೆಡ್ ದ ಎಲಿಮಿನೇಟ್ ರೂಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಥಂಬ್ at workstation. He determined standards and advised to work accordingly. Thus, the emphasized system procedures and definite standards for flow of work. Third is differential remuneration. Taylor suggested differential price rate system. According to this, employees performing above the standards were received higher price rate than those unable to reach the standards. This system was introduced in order to motivate the interest of employees to perform better and enhance their productivity. And group harmony. Taylor emphasized on the maintenance of group in the organization. Group harmony can eliminate dissatisfaction, frustration, and stress of group members. It can create good interpersonal relationship, which is necessary to obtain the exceed results. Next, sound employer-employee relationship. Sound employer-employee relationship. Advocated sound employee and employee relationship builds mutual trust, cooperation, and conclusion. Achievement of organization goals is possible only through this strategy. In order to build good relationship, any employer has to understand and satisfy workers' needs. So next we have the method study. Taylor advocated a systematic arrangement of production process, avoid unnecessary internal transport of materials. He advised to adopt a method which will ensure fast movement and reduce internal transportation time. Scientific recruitment. Taylor advised to recruit the personnel on certain standards. Recruitment should be based on job analysis and conducting selection tests. He also advised to provide training according to the requirements of a job. This type of recruitment will ensure the supply of right person to the right job. Overall standardization. Taylor advocated the importance of overall standardization. He suggested to adopt it in various areas of working, including standardization in tools, instruments, working hours, working condition, quality of work. ಸೊ ಟೇಲರು ಯಾವ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಟೈಮ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಮೋಷನ್ ಸ್ಟಡಿ, ಎಲಿಮಿನೇಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ರೂಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಥಂಬ್ ರೂಲ್, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ರೆಮ್ಯುನರೇಷನ್, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಹಾರ್ಮೋನಿ, ಇದೆಲ್ಲದರಲ್ಲೂ ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ಕಾಂಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಷನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ. ಸಪರೇಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಪ್ಲಾನಿಂಗ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಎಕ್ಸಿಕ್ಯೂಷನ್. ಟೇಲರ್ advocated that planning and executions are two separate functions. Each function has to be discharged by separate persons. So he suggested the planning function has to be performed by supervisors and execution the functions has to be discharged by workers. ಪ್ಲಾನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಒಬ್ರು, ಮತ್ತೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಎಕ್ಸಿಕ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಬೇರೆ ಇನ್ಯಾರು ಇರ್ಬೇಕು, ಅವರು ವರ್ಕರ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೇಕು. ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜರ್ಸ್ ಬೇಕು ಅಥವಾ ಸೂಪರ್ವೈಸರ್ಸ್ ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಅವರು ಟೇಲರು ಇದನ್ನ ಸೈಂಟಿಫಿಕ್ ಇದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ತಿಳಿಸ್ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಗೆ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ದ criticisms of Taylor's theory. ಸೊ ಇಷ್ಟೆಲ್ಲ ಅವರು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದು ಅವ್ರು ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಮಾಡಿ ಇಷ್ಟ ಹೇಳೋದಕ್ಕೆ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ FW ಟೇಲರ್ದು ಸೈಂಟಿಫಿಕ್ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಗೆ ಕ್ರಿಟಿಸಿಸಮ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಏನಂತ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ರೇಸ್ ದೇರ್ ವಾಯ್ಸ್ ಅಗೇನ್ಸ್ಟ್ ದ ಯೂಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ವರ್ಡ್ ಸೈಂಟಿಫಿಕ್ ಬಿಫೋರ್ ದ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್. ಸೊ ಸೈಂಟಿಫಿಕ್ ಅಂತ ಹೆಂಗ್ ಹೇಳ್ತೀರಾ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಸೈಂಟಿಫಿಕ್ ಹಿ ಮೇಡ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಸೈಂಟಿಫಿಕ್ ಅಪ್ರೋಚ್ ಮಾಡಿರೋದಾ ಏನು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಕ್ರಿಟಿಸಿಸಮ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಟೇಲರ್ ಮೇಡ್ ಮೋರ್ ಎಂಫಸಿಸ್ ಆನ್ ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ನೆಗ್ಲೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ದ ಅದರ್ ಏರಿಯಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಸಚ್ ಆಸ್ ಫಿನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್, ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟಿಂಗ್ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್, ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್. ಸೊ ಎಷ್ಟು ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಯಾವ ಕಡೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಫಿನಾನ್ಸು, ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟಿಂಗು, ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಎಲ್ಲಾದ್ರಲ್ಲೂ ನಾವು ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಇದೆಲ್ಲಾ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಗಳನ್ನ ಅವರು ಅವಾಯ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. ಬರೀ ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಮಾತ್ರ ಅವ್ರು ಒತ್ ಕೊಟ್ರು, ಬರೀ ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಅವರು ಇಂಪ್ರೂವ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಟೇಲರ್. ಇನ್ ಯಾವ್ದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆನೂ ಅವರು ಅವ್ರ ಸ್ಟಡಿನ ಇದ್ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಅದನ್ನ ಕ್ರಿಟಿಸೈಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಟೇಲರ್ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ಮೋರ್ ಎಂಫಸಿಸ್ ಆನ್ ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿಮಮ್ ಔಟ್ಪುಟ್ ಥ್ರೂ ಹಾರ್ಡ್ ವರ್ಕ್. ಟೇಲರ್ ಅಡ್ವೊಕೇಟೆಡ್ ಸಪರೇಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಪ್ಲಾನಿಂಗ್ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್. ಸೊ ಎಕ್ಸಿಕ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಪ್ಲಾನಿಂಗ್ ಸಪರೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ಅಂತ ಅದೊಂದು ಕ್ರಿಟಿಸೈಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಆರ್ಗನೈಸೇಷನ್ ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್ ಏಬಲ್ ಟು recruit specialists to lead two separate functions such as planning and execution. So these are some of the criticism for the Taylor's scientific approach. Next, we have the Henry Fayol's approach for the scientific management. So Henry Fayol was a French industrialist. He started his career as an engineer in a mining company, and he categorized business activities into 6 groups: technical, financial, accounting, security, and management. So ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಒಂದ್ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಇಂಪ್ರೂವೈಸ್ ವರ್ಷನ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರು ಒಂದ್ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು, ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಇನ್ನೇನೇನ್ ಇಂಪ್ರೂವ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಇವ್ರು ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡಿ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, Fayol's principles of management. Henry Fayol listed 14 principles of management. It is an important questions. All these are Taylor's, FW Taylor and Hayol's contributions to the management are important questions for the exam. Next, we have the Henry Fayol's listed 14 principles of the management. They are division of labor, authority and responsibility, discipline, unity of command, unity of direction, subordination of individual interest to group interest, remuneration, centralization, scalar chain, order, equity, stability of tenure of personnel, initiative, and esprit de corps. So these are some of the 14 Fayol's principles of management. First is division of labor, refers to the distribution of the total work into different groups of entrusting it to workers. Authority and responsibility. Management is getting things done by others. Authority gives a person to direct the efforts of the others to perform the job. So authority is closely connected with the responsibility. Next, we have the discipline. Respect for agreements which are directed at achieving obedience, application, energy, and outward marks are of respect. So Henry Fayol advocated that a discipline can be obtained through judicial application of penalties. So discipline is very much important. Next, we have unity of command. According to this principle, subordinate has one superior. In case of subordinate is placed under more than one superior, he may not perform job perfectly. Unity of direction. According to this principle, each group of activities having the same objective must have one head and one plan. For example, marketing department should not have two managers, each with different marketing techniques. Subordination of individual interest to group interest. Here, the group interest refers to the interest of an organization. In any organization, the interest of employees should not suppressed and interest of an organization. In case of difference between these two interests, reconciliation should be made. Next, we have remuneration as a principle of another principle of Fayol. This principle states that employees should be given fair and reliable remuneration. It should give satisfaction both to workers and the employees. Next, we have centralization. Generally, authority is centralized in small firms and decentralized in large firms. Taylor said that centralization or decentralization depends upon individual circumstances. Scalar chain. Scalar chain is the channel through which the authority flows from superior to the subordinates. Next, order. According to this principle, materials and people should be in right place at the right time. So this plays an important role. Equity. According to the principles, Superior should show fairness, kindness, and justice towards the subordinates. Stability of tenure of personnel. Payal advocated provision of security of jobs to employees. Initiatives. Payal advocated the subordinate should be given a freedom to express their opinions while executing the work. He suggested that managers should take decisions after considering the opinions of his subordinates. Next, we have the Esprit de Corps. Esprit de Corps refers to unionist strength. Fayol emphasized that need to form a teamwork. It is if in a teamwork which contributes to the achieving the overall objectives of an organization. The superior did not follow the policy of divide and rule. So Esprit de Corps means unionist strength. It is a teamwork uh, for the organization to goal to be fulfilled. So next we have the bureaucratic management. Classical management ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ bureaucratic management, scientific management ಆಯ್ತು, ಅದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ administrative management ಆಯ್ತು, ಇವ್ದು ಫೈಲ್ದು. Next we have the bureaucratic management. Bureaucratic management lays emphasis on strictly defined hierarchy by clearly defining regulations and line of authority. It includes the use of legal authority, hierarchical relation, written rules, procedures, trained bureaucratic promotions based on the competency, etc., in order to achieve success. Max Weber devised a theory of bureaucratic management. He emphasized the need for a firmly defined hierarchy governed by clearly illustrated regulations and lines of authority. Next, we shall move to the neoclassical management era. In neoclassical management era, we will be studying two approaches, human relations approaches, Mary Parker Follett and Mayo approaches. After that, and Hawthorne experiments. Next, we have the modern approaches in which quantitative approach and system approach and contingency approaches there. And we shall move on to Peter F. Drucker's contributions to the management and C.K. Prahalad's contributions to the management in the next class. Thank you all. ಏನಂತೆ ಸರ್? ನಾಳೆ ಮಾಡಿಸ್ತಿದ್ದೀರ ಅಂತ ಇರಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಇದ್ರು. ಅವ್ರು ಲೀವ್ ಅಂತ ಬರ್ತಾನೆ ಇಲ್ಲ, ನಾವೇ ಬಿಡ್ಬೇಕು. ಇವ್ರು